The April 28th meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals to order, and in this first section of the meeting, we're going to hear a continuation of a hearing 116-15 Ravenna, 50 English Street. Just quickly, I'll introduce the board. I think everyone out there probably already knows us, but just in case, T.J. Hurry, who's the clerk of the board. I'm Ken Foreman, I'm vice chair, but Kimberly Beelan, the chair, is absent tonight, so I'll be chairing the meeting. Ed Van Kuren is a voting member of the board, and Paul Murphy, voting member of the board. Okay, with that, why don't you proceed?
Good evening. As you know, this is a continuation. We have submitted a plan. I hope everyone received it. You've heard from me on two different occasions, so I'm sure you don't need me to run through the scenario. I would remind the board of a couple of things. We had submitted, we know that there's two abutters, or two people had given notice, two families that are not in favor of this. I would point out that there's been 11 abutters who signed and have come and spoken in favor. Sean tries to be a good neighbor. I know there may be disagreement on that part. I did reach out to one of the abutters to see what we could do, and it was pretty clear that they didn't want any concessions or anything on that point. I will remind the board that the applicant is a single parent. This is his livelihood. He's been operating this business for over 20 years, and frankly, he'd be in compliance and would not be needed to come before this board, except for the fact that obviously we're talking about an undersized lot. And as a result of that, he does fall within the purview of this board and has to comply. But the criteria, I mean, what we're dealing with is a dump truck that is under 13,000 pounds, and we're dealing with two commercial trailers. As we've said before, one of the trailers would be attached to the truck, and the other trailer would be housed in the garage. Based on, I showed you in the pictures, or I tried to in the plan, the last one, which was where in the past he said his employees park his vehicles. I'm not clear, it's a dirt portion of the road. I would assume it's owned by the town. Clearly I've instructed him, and he would agree that the employees would park the two cars that would come to the house in the driveway. The truck that he had shielded, that he thought was more appropriate to put in the back, which does encroach to 5 feet of the boundary line, which you heard from the neighbor who said he preferred it that way because he doesn't have to see it. We've moved it up on the plan, so it's clearly beyond the 5 feet, but it, you know, there is a visual aspect now at this point. But to be in compliance, he would park his vehicle there. Outside of that, there is no operation of equipment, or certainly this board can condition no operation of equipment. Can condition the hours of operation. I've told you what the hours have been, but in the past, because of what you've heard, obviously there was no teeth to it. Well, I mean, if you condition it and you review and you grant this on a provisional basis for a review in 1 year and you condition it, he has to comply. So I've submitted the plan to where the best location for the truck. If we moved it to the other side, it would be a complete eyesore for the other neighbor. It would be an extreme expense. So he'd move it up, the shrubbery in the front, we'd probably expand a little bit, so there would be some more shielding on that aspect. The two employee vehicles would be parked in the driveway as reflected, so there would be no encroachment whatsoever. The only other thing, this business, I've looked at past, what this board's done in the past. You granted a home-based business, landscape business on John Parker Road. You did one on Jamie Lane within the last 2 years, both of them. I've looked at what they've had compared to what my client has. They're almost identical. I am willing to have the applicant do whatever conditions this board wants in order that he may continue to keep his business afloat.
Okay. Are there
Anything new in the record?
anything new in the record? Sure. Let's start with that, TJ.
Sure, there's the applicant's proposed plan with conditions that was received on April 8th. And
It's a GIS map. It's not a plan. Or similar to, it's not an engineered plan.
I was referring to the actual business plan that he
Yeah.
submitted. There's additional pictures, one with the GIS map that Sari referenced. And there's some correspondences from abutters and neighbors. I believe that's it.
Conservation Commission submitted a request that if this board does grant this permit, that it not be allowed until the violations with conservation are cleared up. That's in the file. But that's strictly up to the board. That's not something you have to do.
Well, why don't we have TJ read that? Sure.
From Conservation,
Is this where the referrals are, or is it somewhere else in the file?
It should be on the other side underneath those pictures, I believe.
Yeah, it was something in the
Right.
last
It's a
few
new-
days, right?
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
in
new
the,
submission.
it's in the last week.
Yeah.
I'm losing track of time. Look at the date stamps. TJ, is it?
I think I'm going back too far.
Yeah, I think you are. It was there Tuesday when I looked at it. It was a short, email.
I think it's an email, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. It was kind of short.
Might be looking at the
Okay.
next one.
All right. We don't need to delay it. I'll take, so we can take Sari's word for it.
Yeah,
It's
there's
there.
been a violation on it for
Right.
a while, and they've been trying to
It's been going on for 5 years.
work it out.
So, yeah, so I'd like to give the board an opportunity to ask any questions of the applicant's representative.
Well, I don't have any, Ken, thank you.
I don't have any questions.
I had a couple. So how many, do you have any idea how many clients Sean currently services?
Under 60 right now, under 60, like probably like 52, I think, and we have 4 others that we're not sure.
It's fine, it's fine, it just should go through that.
Yeah, it's come to about 50.
All right.
This is under 60 right now.
And the plan submitted, is there any modification of the site to accommodate the use that's being proposed in this plan? Any additional parking being carved out? Or is this just a plan that's showing that you're going to park vehicles in particular locations on the site unmodified as it is?
Well, I mean, the concern is this, the driveway is there. The vehicles that were complained about initially were parked on a dirt road in front of the house. So we moved the cars into the driveway. If you modify it, which we're happy to, well, we're not happy to do, but we would do, you're really moving it to the other side of the existing house. And in my client's position, that's more of an eyesore for the abutter, everybody, because there's no shrubbery, there's no anything. He's going to have to then hardtop or gravel or whatever. The expense is the expense, but again, where he's put it was really to give the best shelter, shielding, except for those cars, which has been brought to our attention, that's why we moved it into the driveway. But where he parked the truck for all those years was to shield it so he would be respectful to the neighbors, they wouldn't look at a dump truck. Outside of that, if he moves it to the other side, where there's plenty of room, it's going to be standing out like a sore thumb.
Unless there was additional screening that was installed.
Well, and we would prefer to do the additional screening where we're proposing it, which is out, so it's not 5 feet, and we could put either a gate, or fence, or, I showed you, I think I showed, and maybe I didn't, if I can approach. This is the shrub that's out in front, but it doesn't cover the whole driveway, but we could add to that. If that is something that's more preferable than having a gate or a fence or something of that nature. That's not going to hide the truck. So, but we could extend that out, which would then hide the truck.
Okay. Anything else from,
No, you called this hearing just to review
right?
anything and for him to submit stuff, so
That's right.
we've heard from the
That's right.
public, we've heard.
Heard from the public previously, so this was just to look at that plan. So at this point then, if there's no further board questions, I'd entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And aye. Okay, so now, board discussion. What, Paul?
Well, considering the impacts on the neighborhood, I don't think this is a good fit for English Street. As much as that's a difficult decision for me to arrive at, but it's first and foremost a residential zone. And we've had a butter opposition, and I'm not inclined to vote in favor of this.
Okay. Ed?
I'm not inclined to vote in favor of it. There's continually, 3 cars parked in front on this town road, and, this shows the boundary line of the property. And there's a start of a rubbish pile here on the right-hand side. I know that's not our domain, but it's unsightly for the neighborhood. And I think if the business is very successful, and I'm all for small business, maybe it's time to look at the technology for Thomas Sanders Road for space up there. It's more of a commercial operation. And it doesn't belong on English Street, at that end of the street. Now, granted, the people at the other end of the street have said it doesn't bother them. Well, no, it's far enough away,
Right. Okay, and TJ, your sentiments?
I hate to be penalizing small business in Falmouth, but I feel like this pushes the boundaries of home occupation and our other bylaws that we have to consider.
Okay. And I guess for my perspective, I had hoped that we would see an engineered plan with some carve-outs, gravel, additional parking, screened appropriately, and I believe in these other cases of home-based businesses, we've asked for those kinds of concessions and gotten them in the form of a real plan, and I don't think we have that in this case, so I concur with you all. So I guess we could have a motion for denial, if someone would care to make that.
Make a motion to deny the special permit request number 116-15.
I'll second it.
Okay, so that's been moved and seconded. Now, I think we need to make some findings. And so let's think about what those would be. We have a record of too many cars parked in the layout from employees, of a violation in the side yard setback, What else? You know,
There was a butter opposition.
butter opposition, for sure.
Impact on just the neighborhood itself, the impact of the narrowness of the neighborhood.
Mhm.
Just not an appropriate site, you want to make a finding.
It's a dense neighborhood for a...
For commercial
for a
operation.
commercial operation.
Okay,
It's clearly a commercial operation.
right. Okay,
Too many equipment and vehicles for the site.
Yeah.
There's 2 dump trucks, 2 trailers, 3 or 4 employees' cars.
right. And that we have photographic evidence of that continuing, even during the process of this
Right.
hearing, when you would anticipate that if the applicant truly was going to modify the operation, they would have done so.
Right.
Okay? Are we ready to vote?
I am.
Up
Yeah.
until,
All in favor of the motion to deny?
Aye.
Aye.
And aye. Okay. That brings this hearing to a close. And
do you want to
with that,
vote to go into the open meeting and get the minutes out of the way?
we could do that.
Like, you need a
That'd be the
motion to
pleasure of
take
the
it
board.
out of order.
Sure.
Okay.
This goes in the folder.
TJ, you want to make that motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to take the open minutes out of order.
The open,
Second.
Open meeting.
Open meeting, sorry.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And aye.
seconded
I
Ed. So we have the minutes of April 21st. Has everyone an opportunity to look these over?
Yes.
I have.
Yes.
And no changes proposed?
I did get corrections from a few of the members.
Okay. Then take a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Second? Oh.
Second.
We need someone to first it.
Oh,
We got 2 seconds and no first.
Last week.
Who's on third?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Jerry moves it, Paul seconds, all in favor?
Oh, I forgot
Aye.
to change your
And
G
aye.
to J's, though.
Okay, so, and then, it's you, the signatory, right? Second item on the open meeting agenda is accessory apartment draft letter to the planning board.
I left that on there in case we had received the letter that Kimberly was going to write for you guys to
But I don't-
review.
I don't think we've.
We have
gotten
not
it.
received it.
Okay, so we can move on to
And there's no bylaw review update at
bylaw
this
review
date.
update, correspondence and board updates.
Anybody going on vacation in the next couple months?
I don't think so.
Yes, I'm going on vacation, the first part of June to the Galapagos Islands.
What are the dates, Mr. Foreman?
Uh,
Dr. Foreman, excuse me.
You can call me Mr. Foreman. My wife does.
She's a
When she's
doctor,
feeling
too.
good. Yeah, probably that 6/9 date would not be good.
All right, so the first full week of June, you're going to be gone?
I believe that's correct.
You're only going to go for 1 week?
No, it's like a 10-day thing,
Okay,
I was going to say, it's a long way.
yeah.
all right. Anyone else? That it?
And,
All right, you can take it to
that
me.
it? And then future agenda items, anybody? Okay, if not, I'll put us in recess. Back to order the April 28th meeting of the Falmouth Zoning Board. And let me begin by making a few comments. First of all, asking everyone to please silence your cell phone if you haven't already done so. And then I would like to introduce the board for any of you who were not here earlier when we introduced the board at 6 o'clock. So I'll start with Jerry Patamus, who's to your right, is a new member, associate member of the board, and he will be serving on all of the hearings tonight in the absence of several of our other board members. Speaking of. And next is Paul Murphy, who's a voting member of the board. Ed Van Kuren, voting member of the board. I'm Ken Foreman, vice chair, but I'll be chairing tonight in the absence of our chair, Kim Velan. And then TJ Hurry, who's clerk of the board. As I'm sure many of you know, the Zoning Board of Appeals is charged with applying the zoning bylaws for the town, and we consider requests for special permits, variances, and appeals as provided by our bylaws, which have been approved by town meeting, and the Attorney General's office for the Commonwealth. So our decisions are made through a public hearing process. The goal is to hear testimony from the applicants and from the public to allow for full and fair consideration of the project prior to rendering a decision. So we will begin each hearing with TJ, the clerk, reading from the public announcement of the hearing and presenting any relevant information from the files. That would include referrals from town departments and correspondence. And then the applicant or the applicant's representative will have 15 minutes to, up to 15 minutes, don't have to use all 15 of those minutes, to present the project. If more time is needed, it may be extended by vote of the board. And then we will the board will question the applicants or their representative. Then the public will be invited to comment. We ask that comments be directed only at the project, not obviously no derogatory remarks about applicants. And you can express an opinion. In fact, we encourage you to do so either in favor or in opposition, so we know exactly where everyone stands, or you may just ask a question about the project. If you would like to speak, please wait to be recognized, then go to the podium and clearly state your name for the record so that we can get that minutes properly recorded. After the board feels we've had enough information, we will close the hearing. If we feel additional information is needed, we can continue the hearing to another date certain. And then we will have board discussion and a decision which we can vote. Supermajority is required, so a vote of 4 in order to pass favorably on a motion. And with that, we will go to our first hearing tonight. We have 5 hearings tonight, all new. First one is application 31-16, Chapboyd Associates, 0 Associates Road. TJ, do you have an announcement?
Being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Chapboyd Associates of West Falmouth, Mass. applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Section 240-160A of the Code of Falmouth to allow for a temporary tent for the summer months, June through August, on subject property known as 0 Associates Road, West Falmouth, Mass. And for referrals, engineering is the standard comment. From Falmouth Fire Rescue, they've reviewed the application to allow for the use of a temporary tent for 3 months. They've reviewed the plans, and per applicable fire and building codes, no cooking or open flame is allowed inside the tent. From the building department, a permit is required from ISD and must also be signed off by the Falmouth Fire and Rescue Department. From Marine Environmental Services, no comment. From planning, no comment. And there's also an order of conditions in the file.
Okay. That's from the Conservation.
Conservation Commission.
Yeah, that's correct. All right, and for the applicant, we have Jeff Ryder.
Yep, how you doing? I'm Jeff Ryder with BSS Design, representing the applicant. That would be Chapco Associates in West Falmouth. I'd like to hand out the little picture of the topic of discussion tonight. You got one of those already?
I think so, yeah.
You got one?
I do, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
So this project is down at a lot, it's a vacant lot. It does have a dock on it. It's a common use area on Chapco Island. It's lot 22E. It's quite large. It's over a couple acres in size, I think. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's 34,848 square feet. This is, on my plan here in this orange area is the subject of tonight's discussion, which is the, hopefully the approval of a seasonal tent. This is 16 by 32 feet. If you look through the paperwork, you'll notice that there is some main poles that are 12 and a half feet long, so basically it's 12 and a half feet tall at its two spires or spears where the flags are. So this is under section 240-160A, temporary and conditional structures and uses. We've been to the Conservation Commission for this. The plan shows some parking and some replanting just for some new order down there at the parking area. But again, the subject tonight is the use of this tent to be placed for 3 months, June, July, and August of this year, and then hopefully other years to come. I do have another map. There is a locus map where it is on the island, but if anybody's interested, I do have some GIS maps with it highlighted.
We have it in the file on
You got that?
GIS as well. Thank you.
160.
So currently, this this parking is sort of a sandy gravel. A lot of wind-blown sand up on this parking. It's been here for decades. This is where they stage their sailing and swimming program. There's some boat racks here, some more boat racks back in here. So again, this the tent will be basically used, you know, when you have some inclement weather, perhaps, or a very sunny day where you want to get the sailing group under the tent. If it's raining, we can still continue on with the lessons under the tent. Other things like there is a grill under this new proposal outside the tent, not near the tent. If you wanted to come down and grill and then eat under the tent, there'll be some tables and chairs as well. They do have an annual clam bake. It would be nice to have a tent down there for that. And some just general use for getting underneath, maybe a Sunday newspaper or just sort of hanging out under the sun, or out of the sun, rather. I think the bottom picture of this sort of sets the scale. You know, it's quite small. It's, again, it's only 12 and a half feet tall. On the plan, you see heavy lines coming off the oval-shaped tent, and that represents the tie-downs. So it's well secured.
Okay.
And that's about it. So, any questions?
Questions for Jeff?
Jeff, is this a new request, first time for this lot on Associates Road for a tent? Or, in other words, is this
No,
a yearly event?
I
or-
would guess that there's been a request for like a, I believe there was a wedding there some years ago, but.
Sure, but is this new, though, for like
This is new for the,
the tent?
yeah, this is for the associates and the Chapco Yacht Club.
Yeah, I was just curious. Thank you.
Is this 240, 161?
160.
160.
Oh, one-
160A.
160A,
Temporary
okay.
and conditional.
Okay, I was looking at D and I did, okay, A.
Anything for the applicant, Jerry?
No, everybody answered.
No, I don't have any.
TJ?
Any proposed use for the tent other than, your occasional clam bake or using it for the sailing team and during inclement weather?
That's, really, that's about all I can think of, but we've talked about, what are the uses, and there's basically, I went through with them, about four or five items.
Anything like weddings or anything like that? I know
I think
the
it's,
size is
on the
relatively
small size for a wedding, to
Mhm.
be honest with you, unless it's a very small wedding. But certainly, I guess you could use it for that.
So nothing really proposed going too late into the day?
No, not that I know of. I would say that one day of the clam bake, perhaps, because that does go into the evening.
So I have a few questions. Is that it? The tent is only one of the things that is being done here, right? The others maybe don't trigger zoning review, but there's considerable improvements to the site that you're making. Is that correct?
The improvements are actually sort of upgrades, yes. There's a parking area there now. There's a lot of native shrubs, but we're going to put some more and sort of neck down the entrance and exit because they're kind of widened out over the years. The parking area here that I have in sort of beige, that is existing in that shape. So there's really, the improvements are, basically to fill in some potholes in the surface and compact, and a new flared threshold for the dock, and then again the tent.
There's some fencing.
And some fencing to delineate the parking. Because the parking gets a little out of whack at times, so. That's basically how they use the parking, but we're just trying to make it a little more orderly.
Right. And the total amount of parking there is?
I'd have to count it for you, it's not very many.
On the plan, I'm counting 1, 2.
Everybody's nearby, but we have.
I'm counting about a dozen.
Yeah, there's a dozen.
Okay. So most of the use is locally? That is, people
Correct.
won't be driving from outside the Associates Road neighborhood?
Primarily, but there is, again, this sailing program that extends beyond the Associates to the West Falmouth area.
Okay.
Chapco Yacht Club is sort of all of West Falmouth. But there's nobody that really stays during that. They drop off and pick up, so it's...
And you're adding gravel, is that correct, to the parking area?
We're adding it, we're basically going to be regrading, not changing the pitch, really, just taking out the potholes. There are some divots that are a little bit unsafe. So it's real straightforward stuff, just some grading and compacting.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the public regarding this project? Okay. Has the board heard enough?
I have, sure.
Okay, I'm happy to entertain a motion to close.
Make a motion to close.
Second.
Okay, so that would be Ed and Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And aye. All right, and any board wish any discussion, or are we ready to make a motion?
I'm ready to move forward with the motion.
Okay, would you
I'll
like?
second it.
So,
Whatever the motion is.
Yeah.
To approve this, is it a special permit?
yes.
Yeah, 31-16.
Okay, so you're making a motion to approve application 31-16?
Yes.
Second it.
And second, and let's see,
Findings?
findings. Yes, we find that the use is appropriate for the site. Under 242-16, is that, and 241-16?
160.
But it is a special permit, so
It's
also.
for use by members of Jeppaquoit Association.
And the sailing club,
Yeah,
right?
open to West Falmouth, yeah,
That's from, yeah.
but they sponsor it.
And it's,
It's a yearly permit.
yep. And the dates, do we have dates? Did
Yeah.
we get
He has
dates?
June, July, and August. Do you want that from Memorial Day to Labor Day?
That buys me a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
On both sides.
That would be better, yeah.
Is that okay with the board?
I think that's
Yeah.
fine. And it's also more specific, so that's good.
Right,
Uh,
just for a year, 2016.
And I think we want them, okay, so, and then,
Compliance with Concom, is that automatic?
that'll be a condition, and I
You
think.
just make a finding that Concom submitted order
Right.
of conditions.
Right. We can make a finding that there's a order of conditions, and,
It's for, the order of conditions is for more than the tent.
Right.
It's for dirt
right,
work
it's for
and
all of the
everything.
site work,
Plantings,
which
fence,
was
yes.
described. So, and then for conditions, I think, we do have a plan, so as per the plan, no cooking inside of the tent.
Right, and I'll put that as a finding as well.
Yeah. And then,
Fire and building department.
Are there issues with either lights after 10, 11 o'clock, or music or noise?
Well, you
We
can
could
make a
make a
condition that
condition.
there's no music after 10 o'clock at night.
I just do 10 o'clock out as a time.
I think that's reasonable.
That's typical.
So no music after 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah, it is right in the neighborhood, so
Mhm.
that's for sure. Yeah.
And lights, you want to do it like the one you did? Lights have to be off within an hour after any function?
Sure.
Yeah, not for them to clean up.
And there's a note in the conscom, I guess about retaining an 8-foot cedar, but that's in the conscom decision.
Yeah, that's not your jurisdiction.
Right. So, but we are saying that they should abide by the conservation.
Yeah, one of your conditions can be that you adopt the order of conditions. Do you adopt the order of
Yes, we
conditions?
do.
Yes.
Okay, I think that has it pretty well covered.
I think so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
You all set? Thank you very much.
Yep.
Remember, it's
Thank
for a
you.
yearly permit.
Right.
Thank you.
I do have a question about that. Is it the same format every year?
It is the same format every year, and I'll put in the date that we expect you to, it'll be March 15th. You need to submit an application because it's usually a 2-month process.
Sure.
Okay. So, our next hearing is application 25-16, John and Laura Kelly of 471 Old Barnstable Road in East Falmouth.
Being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that John W. and Laura W. Kelly of Northeastern Mass applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Sections 240-3A and 240-3 of the Code of Falmouth to have the town acknowledge that two separate dwelling units existed prior to May 19, 1959, and to allow the raise and reconstruction of the two pre-existing non-conforming dwellings on subject property known as 471 Old Barnstable Road in East Falmouth, Mass. And for referrals from the Health Department, the site in the file shows a septic system layout, but there is no detail sheet. Plans provided are not sufficient for septic permitting, but suggest that a suitable septic system can be constructed to serve two dwellings with 2 bedrooms each. From engineering is your standard comment with recommending that the applicant explore moving the driveways from Bacardi Lane to improve the site distance, reduce driveway and roadway intersections to move further away from Carriage Shop and Old Barnstable. They recommend combining the two driveways into one if they aren't relocated to Bacardi Lane. It appears that two separate buildings are visible in 1950s aerial photos. It looks like they shared a shared driveway. They also note in 1960 aerial photo, also on file with their office, the site looks the same as the 1950 aerial. With the building department, no comment. Fire department, no comment. Conservation, no comment. Marine and Environmental Services, no comment. Planning, no comment.
I believe there was some communication between myself and Mr. Bunker regarding why the driveway cannot be off Bacardi Lane and while it should be maintained on Old Barnstable.
Yes, there was.
And okay, so it's there. Tom can go through that if the board wishes.
Yeah. Well, why don't we start with Tom's presentation? Maybe that will clarify.
Okay, thank you. For the record, my name is Tom Bunker. We prepared, for PSS Design, we prepared these plans representing John Kelly, who was here also. Mr. Kelly wrote up the great narrative or memo that's in there. Gave me a lot of information too. Starting with the existence of the buildings, the houses on the property. This is a part of the 1950 aerial photo that Scott mentioned in his engineering department memo. And it's hard to blow it up. But this one field here is basically number 471, and there are visible houses, or actually 4 structures along there. Two ended up on this lot and 2 are on a different lot. I think this is a great printout here to show the before all the development, all the strawberry fields and cranberry bogs along Bacchus River. It's how it was back then. But there are 2 houses here, and it looks like there was a roadway, probably a farm road that went between fields going out there. There's maybe another house down there. In 1963, this lot was created. Again, the 2 houses are shown here, this lot and larger, and a couple other lots. And there's a note on there that says that that's on the next plan, there's a note, but anyway, this lot was created and sold, separate ownership from the remainder of the land. 1971, this roadway, private way, was put in. It's now the beginning of Bacardi Lane. You see Dominic Agostino owned this land. And even though it fronts on it, there is the construction of deeds and subdivision plans, actually no rights within this private way for this piece of land. There's actually a note down at the bottom that says that this way is to be shared and maintained by the owners of lots 1, 2, and A, but not this lot here. And this will get into, I told Scott, and I shared that with Sari, that the way the plans were drawn and the deeds are written is actually the deed for this parcel does not even mention Bacardi Lane. It's just a bearing and 2 bearings and distances along here.
And that was 73?
This is
71.
71. This roadway was put in 71. And it's possible that they did use this, but notes on the plan and the deeds and all, there's no established right for this land to use Bacardi Lane. That's some of the, back history, but I guess I'll go a little further into some of the information that Mr. Kelly put in. There are field cards that note that as being 2 separate dwellings, 2 separate field cards show 2 separate dwellings, notes on how many bedrooms each structure has. One was the ranch house, one was the Picker's house. So there are 2 dwellings on here. You can note now the 2 dwellings on this plan. Both are in non-conforming locations. This is 6.7 feet from the property line. This one is 21.5 feet from Bacardi Lane and 17.5 feet from Old Barnstable Road. So both of them, this is 29 feet from Bacardi Lane. So it's in conforming location in one dimension, but not the other. Could get a letter of designating a front yard, which would make this one conforming, but it still doesn't conform to Old Barnstable Road, and this will still not conform to the property line setback. I can also note that there are substandard septic systems. Each house has an old cesspool. It is said that there's asbestos siding on them. They're substandard in many ways. On the plan that we have prepared, I have the existing houses here in a lighter color, and then the 2 proposed houses. Feel that they do fit on this way, the best way. As mentioned, we could have, if they had the right to use Bacardi Lane, we could have come in from this way and reoriented the houses. We feel it works well this way. We do have the 2 conforms as a setback further from Bacardi Lane than this one, so it conforms to the setback here. There's no longer a house only 6.7 feet from the property line here, so that nonconformity is eliminated. The nonconformity here is eliminated. The nonconformity from Old Barnstable Road is eliminated. It should be better certainly for the neighbor that lives in this house here, getting it well away from their property. We have a 4-bedroom septic system in here, and at the time we haven't submitted the detail page to the health department, but we have that now, and as Dave said, it does appear, and it can certainly fit a 4-bedroom septic system adequately on this parcel. This is in the Bournes Pond, Coastal Pond Overlay District. As noted before, both houses have 2 bedrooms. Both the existing houses have 2 bedrooms. And if you look at the floor plans, both of the proposed houses have 2 bedrooms, so there's no increase in septic flow on this property. I could note, of course, that somebody could build a 5-bedroom house by right, but we're doing this with two-bedroom houses and not increasing the septic flow. I do have two driveways here. It's in the referral. The engineering department doesn't care for that. I feel a couple of reasons. One is because this site slopes downhill. We have one house here using the existing curb cut, and as this house is further downhill, we can come in at a lower elevation for the driveway. Also, the site will be tiered somewhat, so this house is up at elevation 53. This house is down at elevation 50. So between the houses, there's a 3-foot drop here, and I feel that this is somewhat not sensitive. People don't like sharing, and obviously we could share the driveway if you insist. We could make it happen, but we feel it's better for the sense of ownership, even though these probably these are going to be owned. These are going to be whether it's rented or owned. People have a better sense of belonging if they have their own driveway and don't have to share it with somebody else. Also because the way the site is tiered down, the driveways work better here. The grading will be done so that there's adequate sight distance. You have to remember that this intersection here is a 4-way stop, so what they call a busy intersection. People are stopping here. Anybody coming up here is going very slowly because they've just stopped. Certainly anybody that knows the area coming this way knows that they have a stop ahead of them. Frankly, I think that individual driveways have less conflict. One person trying to get out while another person is trying to get in. Even if it's wider, there's still some stop and go, where it's less likely, I think, to have two separate driveways. The flow is better, and frankly, I don't think there'll be any danger from having two driveways. It's on the outside of the curve, and there is excellent visibility in both directions, certainly after all the grading and everything is done. As a matter of fact, the tree that Scott wanted taken out has already been taken out because they're doing the starting sidewalk work there. So already work has started on that. As he requested, we changed the grading a little bit so that all the drainage from this driveway will stay on, both driveways will stay on the property and not go into Old Barnstable Road, or the Old Barnstable Road. That's our site plan, and so I'd like to just go things. Just addressing Scott's comments. As he said, he still prefers access off Macquarie Lane if possible, and he said that's a private way where we have no rights. And shared driveways, I believe this is as good, possibly better. It's certainly not dangerous to have two separate driveways like this. So I guess there are two findings you have to make, and one is obviously that the two dwellings existed prior to May 19, 1959. There are field cards, some dates in the 50s, I believe 1957, an aerial photo that showed the structures in 1950. I'm not sure how much more before that. I think one of them, at least the ranch house, was built in 1922. At least they purchased the property in 1922, built the house in 1923. So, I think it's been shown and what's been filed that this has been in use since before 1959. And the next decision that you'd have to come to is that this is not substantially more detrimental than what's there now. There are several nonconformities now, the first being that there are two dwellings on it rather than one, plus several nonconformities in setbacks. The setback nonconformities we're eliminating, building houses that are further from the property line, so the houses will be new and up to date, better for the health and safety of residents. You point out that you always ask how tall it is. It's 28 feet some inches tall, and the basement will not be used for bedrooms. For utilities, storage.
You're not going to leave us any questions to ask.
I'm trying not to.
You're doing a good job.
Believe that the site is adequate for this proposed use. There are two houses on it now, two-bedroom houses on it now, and we'll stay with two-bedroom houses. It's suitable for this proposed use. Probably was good at one time as a strawberry field, but it's good for houses too. Traffic flow and safety are not going to change. I don't believe having two drivers instead of one is going to change that, but we have two-bedroom houses on it now. We'll create the same amount of traffic. Visual character, increase in an improvement in the house quality, I think, will improve the visual character of the neighborhood without a doubt. Adequacy of method of sewage disposal, or putting in a new Title V compliance septic systems rather than the two old cesspools. All normal, regular utilities, electricity and town water. I'm not sure about gas, but adequate utilities are available on the site for this use. Mr. Kelly, do you have anything to add?
No.
If you wish to speak, you need to go to the podium, state your name.
Or you could just say
The
no.
board has to vote.
Okay.
You've done a great job there.
So
Okay,
let's take questions.
let's see if the board has any further questions for Tom or for you, Mr. Kelly.
I have a
Starting
question.
with Jerry.
I notice you have one septic tank for two dwellings, which to me implies this lot probably could never be subdivided.
This lot could not be subdivided.
I mean, that's what it implies to me, okay?
Well, it certainly can't. The minimum lot size is 40,000.
Yeah.
Exception seems to always come up, with one septic facility serving. So each one will have a separate water meter?
Yes.
Probably doesn't, it will.
Yes.
And it's not before us today, but there's a good chance sometime in the future, maybe sooner rather than later, that there could be required advanced nitrogen systems for septic tanks in Horns Pond, because it's a TMDL area. I think that's the risk they take now. If it comes down later, they'll have to conform with
Only
whatever.
if their system fails will it have to comply with future regulations.
Well, when
and
the
it changes.
TMDL comes out, it might say septic tank is inadequate.
When it fails. That's usually
Yeah,
the...
we can't conjecture on.
Okay, that's,
Okay?
yeah,
You know,
okay, I agree.
This is a zoning
Just-
issue, not
just to keep
Board of
the
Health
record
issue.
straight.
Paul?
Yeah, just a general question about the curb cut closest to the intersection. Is there, when the DPW wasn't crazy about it, did they have serious concerns about safety, or?
We wanted to make sure, I have on here a site triangle, we wanted to make sure we had adequate site distance. and
Sure.
we agreed that there's adequate site distance.
Okay. Yeah, I just was wondering what the objection was on their end, but that explains it. Thank you.
And you did look at making one driveway across to tie in all to one?
We looked at it, the grading of the driveway and all, it wasn't as good, we felt, for having two separate structures in that way.
Okay, that's all I have.
TJ?
243A, it does state that we have to find by a preponderance of credible evidence that the use commenced prior to May 19th, 1959. In the file, you do have an affidavit from the prior property owner, Mr. D'Agostino, and that goes back from his ownership from 1969. So can you talk about the 10-year gap there?
Well, we have the field cards from, I believe it was 1957.
Right. They're in the file.
In the file, that do show that the town recognized that there were two separate dwellings there in 1957.
Okay, that's it? So I had visited the site, I noticed it is a busy intersection. I noticed a number of large trees that are marked with orange paint. Are those trees for removal
I believe
for your project or for the sidewalk construction project?
sidewalk, we have not marked any trees for removal. Just the views on the sidewalk. And it
One was quite a nice conifer, actually.
Yeah, that was the spruce tree here
Yeah.
that Scott had in his first comment that would have to come down for site visibility.
Mhm.
So I guess they're gonna do it for us.
Right.
You hope.
Well, I guess the question I had is, because I think that degrades your lot too, that.
To take it out.
Yeah, would that still be necessary if you had the single shared drive?
It probably wouldn't be, but it's what they're doing for the sidewalk.
That's my question.
Yeah.
It's gonna come down for the sidewalk no matter what.
Yeah. Yes. As far as I know, I said, we didn't mark any for cutting, and things have been marked for clearing for the sidewalk, so I didn't talk to Scott or who was doing it to see if that's what it was for, but it's my understanding that that's what it's for.
Okay. Because, you're sharing septage, so I thought sharing a driveway might be not all that much more. Sharing.
Even a Y,
In the short time I was there, a lot of heavy trucks came by. I felt, boy, 2 curb cuts that close to the intersection is not great.
The grade, it's partly because of the grading, because one house is lower downhill, and of course that makes, if you come in high, then you have to turn quickly and then go down 3 feet to park for the other one, and it's partly the grading, and partly, in general, people, like their own driveway, their own mailbox.
Right. And there's no way you can obtain the rights in Bacardi Way?
I don't
at a
know.
price.
Maybe Mr. Kelly could address that.
No, it is a,
You must go to the podium.
I'm sorry, sir. It is a private way.
State your name, so everyone.
My name is John Kelly, I'm the petitioner, my wife and I are the petitioner. That is a private way. It is almost a dirt path.
Yeah.
It is wholly inadequate for cars entering on Old Barnstable Road or coming off of it. There's very little lighting there. I would only note, when you're concerned about the driveway, that if you look on the application for a driveway curb cut, it says that 2 are allowed per lot. I have that there in the application. It explicitly states that. It also says that you must have 40 feet from this end of the driveway to the intersection where it intersects there. My wife and I measured it in the rain. It is more than double the allowed amount of square footage, not square footage, but feet to that area. If, not to be a person that says that somebody else has something and that I should have it first, but contiguous properties around the corner have 2 curb cuts. Also, within the same intersection there, I would agree with you that the intersection is, at times during the day, gets a little more traffic, but there's other times when you're the only soul there. And so I hope that helps your decision.
Thank you. Any further questions from the board? If not, I'll ask if there's any comments or questions from the public. Please go to the podium, state your name.
My name's Eric Johnson. I live diagonally across the street, 460 Old Barnstable Road. I'm happy to see that the property is going to be improved. Those houses, I think in the last, I built my house in 1991. I think the houses have been used probably a year's worth of time since I've been there. The owners have come for a couple weeks in the year, and that's if that. As far as the street, it's a lot busier than most people think. I'm not trying to put any curb because I'm happy to see the property be improved, but it is a very busy street. And just, you know, people mostly coming from the Route 28 and Old Barnstable coming down, especially in the summertime. People that are not familiar with that corner, you can hear them come around that corner and the tires screech, not realizing there's a stop. Maybe an improvement of stop ahead sign would be a good idea as an addition for the town to put something there, just as a safety if he gets his curb cuts. But that's really all I have to say about that.
Okay, I have a question, though. You've
Sure.
lived there since 91?
1991, yes. Well, yes, 1991.
And you're saying there has not been a lot of use, but has there been continuous use through the period? In other words,
Off and on through
not
the years.
necessarily 12-month-a-year occupancy, but every year someone is living in those houses for some portion of time.
Every year, except probably the last year. I didn't see anybody but that was probably because they were going through the process of selling the
For
property.
1
and-
year.
Yeah, but somebody has been there,
Right.
and a sizable amount of people, too. More like a family reunion almost kind of like thing. There'd be, 4, 5, 6 cars, and there would be, have people having a good time.
I ask because the protection for 2 houses on a lot goes away if it's abandoned for more than 2 years. So that's why.
It was just last summer that I didn't see anybody there. But just because I didn't see anybody there didn't mean somebody wasn't necessarily there. I'm busy all the time. But I've been there since 91. Somebody has been there every summer.
Okay. Good. Any other comments from the public? Hearing no other comments from the public, is the board satisfied that they've heard enough testimony? I'd entertain a motion to close the hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Okay, Ed and Paul, all in favor?
Aye.
And aye. Okay, and how does the board want to proceed?
Do you want to have any board discussion?
Happy to have discussion if you'd like.
Yeah,
Go ahead and begin.
I'm familiar with the property, and because I used to live up the street on Country Club Lane, so I'm familiar with the intersection. And, the fact that they don't have the right to use Bacardi kind of, limits them in the reconstruction. Shared driveways, I've owned properties with easements and shared driveways. It creates problems. Who plows it, It's kind of difficult. So the fact that my only issue here was the DPW's concerns, but Tom represented that they achieved the proper site triangle, the proper distance from the intersection, and so it complies with the standards of the DPW. So I have no objections at all.
Okay. Jerry,
I have
any
no
thoughts?
I'm ready to vote to approve.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ed?
I'm also, I think it's an improvement to the neighborhood.
TJ?
I think it's a major improvement to the property. We got conforming structures, the septic upgrade, which the applicant noted. The only sticking point, I think, is whether it's a single driveway or a separate driveways. And I'm leaning toward allowing separate driveways.
Okay. All right. I certainly agree that it's an improvement, and both homes are comparable in size, or even maybe a little more modest in some ways. So this is not a case where we are taking advantage of this nonconformity to put up 2 enormous structures on the site, which I personally appreciate. So, I'd be happy to entertain a motion to approve this, because that's what I sense the board would like to do.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, so Jerry and Ed move to approve, and now we need to make some findings.
Can we read back this statement?
How about meets 243A, and I'll list the evidence that was submitted to the file?
Yeah, I mean, specifically, we have, we're getting rid of the setback nonconformities, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Minimizing.
that comes after, right? So all non-conforming setbacks eliminated, septic system, cesspools to be eliminated, Title V compliance system to go in, no increase in bedrooms.
Right. Lot coverage is
On site.
well below the standards. Building heights are well below the standard, 35 feet. There will be an addition of a sidewalk that will result in the removal of trees that currently obstruct sight
Well, do you want to put that the town,
distances.
because
Yeah.
it's not him that's doing that?
Yeah, the town is doing this,
So,
that's right.
okay.
But it does affect their sight distances, which
Mhm.
is relevant to the issue of how many driveway openings are reasonable there, and what distance from the intersection they should be.
So the town is putting in sidewalks and eliminating
In particular, there's one large
trees that will improve.
Sight distance.
fir, I guess it is, that
All
is.
right. Anything else?
Anybody think of anything else?
No increase in bedrooms, I've got
No.
that.
And there'll be an improved septic, of course.
Right, I got that.
Note that.
Cesspools eliminated, compliant Title V.
Yep.
Overall, huge improvement.
Yep.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
make a finding for the two separate driveways, please.
So, I guess the finding would be that on balance, the board feels that the two separate driveways can work on this site, given the improved site distances, and that the testimony has it that the grading involved in building a single shared drive was problematic. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
good.
That's right.
Okay, and then conditions,
Build it like the drawings.
as per the plans. No more than 4 bedrooms total?
That's
Right.
what they want, 2 per dwelling unit. or
Yep, 2 per
yep.
dwelling unit.
Yes, that's,
And,
Does it go without saying they need an approved Title V from Board of Health?
yeah, well, that's part of their plan, yeah. Any others? I think that's pretty much it,
that's
as
it.
per plan. Okay.
And the
all-
total of bedrooms.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And aye. Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Good luck on the project.
I think, one other thing we should add is that we have testimony that it was in continuous use at least since '91.
Good point.
Okay. So our next, welcome. Hearing is application 27-16, Geraldine Lavender, trustee.
Being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Geraldine Lavender, trustee of Hatchville, Mass., applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Section 240-3A of the Code of Falmouth to have the town acknowledge that two separate dwelling units existed prior to May 19th, 1959, and to allow the raise and reconstruction of the pre-existing non-conforming second dwelling on subject property known as 490 Hatchville Road in Hatchville, Mass. And for referrals, from engineering is your standard comment with the addition that there are two visible buildings on the 1950 aerial photographs on record with our office. From the fire department, no comment. From building, no comment. Marine and environmental services, no comment. Planning, no comment. And there are several letters in the file. One from Robert W. Gunning stating that during the early mid-50s that he had a paper route and
I thought that was cute.
remembers the house being there. And Anita Gunning being aware that there was a cottage there probably since the 1940s and definitely built before May of 1959. There's also some assessor's cards in the record.
Okay.
All right, good evening. My name is Stephen Cook. I'm the project designer. Name of my firm is Couture Bay Design LLC. With me is Jerry Lavender, the owner of 490 Hatchville Road. The existing cottage, as the engineering department says, is shown on the 1950 aerial, has been there. The main house was, according to assessor's records, was built in 1929. So we figure this cottage was built somewhere between 1929 and 1950. It was used by Alan and Marion Hatch, the previous owners of the property. It's called Hatch Hollow, that's the sign out front. They used it as, according to the longtime neighbors, the Gunnings, and firsthand knowledge from the owner, Jerry, that they used to rent out the main house during the summer and live in a cottage. So the cottage is poorly constructed. There's very little foundation underneath it. A few cinder blocks, probably some wood. When you go in, the floor is all over the place. The roof is all over the place. It seems like it's been added to in time. It's almost a flat roof. There's a couple of little small gables. It's a one-bedroom cottage with an open area, living area with a kitchen and a bathroom with a clawfoot bathtub in there. The whole building is pretty much crumbling. So Jerry would like to reconstruct as a new cottage. Plans are enclosed. One-bedroom cottage with an open living room, kitchen, a bathroom, an area for a laundry, and one bedroom with a full basement this time. As for setback requirements, the cottage shown in yellow meets all setback requirements. It's an 1.5 acre lot, well over 300 feet off the street. Lot coverage is going from 5.4% to 5.6%, so there's no issues that way. Doesn't impact any neighborhood issues for traffic safety and so forth. Let's see, right now the separation between the main house and cottage is 32 feet. We're going to just move it 10 feet to 42 feet, just give a little more space. And just because the cottage is basically crumbling, we don't want to have an issue in there in a heavy snowstorm like last winter. If we have a roof collapse and somebody's in there, it'd be a danger to whoever's using that. So that's one of the main reasons why we're asking for this special permit. With that, I'll answer any questions.
Okay, great. And nicely done in the time frame.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet, exactly.
No question.
Any questions?
Not for me.
No, none for me.
Anything, TJ?
Could ask about the basement, since you're proposing a full basement. Anything going to be down there, utilities, anything in that nature?
Yeah, the heating system, utilities be down there. Since it's a small cottage, somebody could use it as a den area, storage. That's what we're planning on, the basement.
From the, I actually don't remember from the plan, is that a bulkhead access or interior access to the basement?
Interior access, and there'll probably be an egress window well down there, bring some light in there. Instead of the small basement windows, we'll do a double hung or a casement window, bring light in there.
Okay, I don't think the board has any further questions. I'll ask if there's any questions or comments from the, from the public.
My name is Jill Neubauer. I'm Jerry's neighbor. I'm directly to her west. We share the entire length of our property lines. And I see the existing cottage and hear whatever is, cars and things. And I'm in favor of this new cottage. I'm very comfortable with it. I just had one request, if possible, that any exterior lighting would shine down instead of out, and that there would be no floodlights on the building because it shines up to my property, but otherwise I'm in complete support of it.
Okay, so why don't we find out from the applicant what the lighting, if any, is proposed for this building?
The only lighting proposed would be at the doorways, and we can use dark sky compliant lighting fixtures at the doorways.
Okay. All right, any other comments from the public? Hearing no other comments comment from Sri.
Does this have its own septic system, did you say?
Right now, it does have a cesspool. We're going to get that inspected, because I assume that the health department will ask for condition or inspection before, when the building permit is.
Correct, they will.
Yeah, like for us, so right now.
And is there an active, Title V septic system for the main dwelling?
No,
or is
both
it
on
cesspool as
cesspools.
well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So once we get an inspection, then we're going to determine whether we need Title V upgrade. And
Okay.
before the building permit will be issued, I'm sure the health department will request that too.
Okay, so we may want to include something in the findings and conditions pertaining to that.
Well, I don't know about conditions, but definitely in the findings, because it would be up to the Board of Health.
Right.
They may have to, if they have to move something, then they have to come back to us, yes.
Okay. Okay, the good question, is the board ready to close?
So moved.
Okay, Jerry,
Second.
Paul, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the hearing is closed, and I would be happy to entertain a motion.
Steve, you can go ahead and sit down.
I suspect that the sentiment of the board is to approve this one?
Yeah.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, Jerry and Paul move to approve. Findings?
Again, evidence submitted, 24216, the same thing as,
Yeah, certainly is an improvement. Having been to the site, the structure is in need of replacement.
all dimensional requirements are in compliance.
Mm-hmm.
Same number of bedrooms.
Yeah.
I guess I'm observing that as a
Um,
comment, because I can't remember.
Yes,
You
there's
want-
one, it's a one-bedroom
Right.
cottage.
And do you
Okay,
want
that's
to
that
make a
one.
finding on the testimony of the basement use?
Sure. We find that the basement will be used to house mechanicals and for storage, I guess, right?
Well, could it be used for a den?
We'll get to that in the conditions.
Oh,
The
okay.
condition will be that there's definitely no bedrooms,
Oh, yeah,
but
okay.
any other habitable space.
Right.
Up to them.
Any other findings anybody would like to bring up?
I'll list all the evidence that was submitted, everything else. So you want to do conditions?
Conditions.
Approval from the Board of Health for Title V, so is that,
If there's any change
Okay.
in the location of the structure due to
Right.
possible
So we were
septic
gonna-
systems
Actually, in the
going in.
findings, we were going to note that
Right,
there's
I
a
did.
cesspool serving the site
Right.
and that it may
Right.
require upgrade. Okay, and then in the conditions, we'll say any upgrades that would alter
okay,
the
the location?
the location of the building, I guess, would require further review by the ZBA. Okay? Is that true?
do we not care about the location of the septic tank? That's up to the
No,
Board of
that's up
Health?
to the Board of Health.
No, I just want to make sure.
It's, if they do put it in, and it goes between the two houses, if it has to serve the two,
Mhm.
and they're required to move the cottage, then it would come back to the board. That's
Okay.
basically what you want,
So
right?
we need like, what, a 25, is it 25 feet?
I think it's
between
20
the-
feet
20
between
feet Between the.
structures and property lines, I believe.
Okay. So. it'd be-
Raoul, am I right?
So there's, I'm guessing there's plenty of room. You have to run a fairly long line.
Yeah, because now the cottage has moved back 10 feet, so it's now 42 from but the width of the septic, the trenches. Whatever, I'll do the condition.
And if it happens, it could be approved by the zoning administrator, right?
Does the board want to look at it?
To just move the
Well, I do
tank.
feel this is a very modest project, which is seeking simply to replace an existing structure that's in need of replacement. They're not trying to expand anything, and if we can make it easier,
Yeah.
I have no problem,
So would that be administrative review by the administrator?
if we allow it,
If-
Yeah.
if we say it's okay.
I say it's okay.
The board can also administratively review it as well.
Yeah. So administrative review,
Administrative.
So that's
if
the
any
board.
modifications
That's the board, or?
are triggered by
Yeah.
the septic.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
let's just
Ooh,
include
that's a
the
good way,
condition
modification.
as that.
Triggered by.
The night lighting?
Oh, that, we should include a condition to satisfy the abutter,
What was the term Steve
which
used?
was a night sky
Dark sky.
compliant, or
Dark
dark
sky
sky
lighting.
compliant lighting on this
The
cottage.
front door, I thought it said.
On the cottage,
It's on the cottage.
you know, we don't have to say where it's located.
And the large window in the basement for emergency egress.
That'll be per plans.
Yeah. And they have to have two ways to get out anyway, right?
Only if they have a bedroom down there.
Okay.
If there's a den, you don't have to have it?
Okay, and then we're going to say no more than one bedroom? Do you want to make that a condition?
Oh, of
I
course.
don't think there's any issues
One bedroom.
with that. Okay. Everybody ready? All in favor?
Aye.
And me. So passes unanimously.
Thank you,
and
Steve.
Off you go.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Okay, so far, things are moving very smoothly.
Don't jinx it.
So now,
Move to close
we
it.
will hear application 28-16, 101 Falmouth Heights Nominee Trust.
Being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that 101 Falmouth Heights Road Nominee Trust of Woodland, Mass. applied to the zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Sections 240-3C, 240-23G1, and 240-68D of the Code of Falmouth to allow the raise and reconstruction of the pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling and renovations to the existing three-car garage on subject property known as 101 Falmouth Heights Road, Falmouth, Mass. And for referrals, I see that we received Concom's order of conditions. From engineering, standard comment. From fire department, no comment. From planning, no comment. And I believe that's it for referrals.
Yeah, we can share. Thank you.
You forgot me, Raoul.
For the record, Raul Lizardi from Holmes & McGrath. We're the engineers and land surveyors for the applicant. The applicant is 101 Falmouth Heights Road Nominee Trust. The property is at 101 Falmouth Heights Road. The project before us tonight is a tear down and reconstruction of a single-family dwelling. It's a non-conforming structure. Non-conformities are based on lot coverage by structures and setbacks to the waters of the inner harbor. The existing house is currently non-conforming to the setbacks of the inner harbor because it's located 48 feet to the waters based on the elevation 3 and GBD. The proposed structure will also be 48 feet, but as a scope of the project, the house is being pushed further away from the waters except for one corner of the proposed deck, which will remain at 48 feet. The majority of the existing deck that's adjacent to the pool will be eliminated. The lot coverage, it's exceeding the requirements of the Falmouth zoning bylaw. Right now is lot coverage 26.1%. We're proposing a reduction of 0.5%. We're reducing the size and footprint of the building, and we're coming with 25.6% lot coverage. The property, in addition to the resident, has a structure as a pool, has another structure as a wharf, and has piers. Those structures are not being proposed to be modified or altered in any way. The site has a septic system. We're not proposing to change the septic system. We're not proposing to increase number of bedrooms or sewage flow to the system. The property already has a 3-car garage, and we're proposing a new 3-car garage. We conform to all the setbacks on the side property lines and on the front property lines. We're not getting any closer to any of the side property lines on the south. We are getting closer on the north side, but we're still conforming to the minimum setbacks. We're proposing 11-foot setback. We're not getting any closer to the sideline on the street. We're keeping it at 91 feet. And the reconstruction of the 3-car garage also requires a special permit. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Okay. Oops.
You just step on your phone.
Any questions? Jerry?
You're not making any changes to the pool, right?
Correct.
I have no questions.
No questions.
TJ?
Just to clarify, you said that the setback to Falmouth Inner Harbor was 48 feet with the existing building, and what's proposed is it's going to end up just
The same.
corner of the deck there?
Correct.
So I do have a question. You are still over the minimum lot size, although not very much, a lot coverage for the structure. And I think I calculated it's about 170 square feet that you would need to reduce this structure by to make it at the maximum. Is there no way that can be done by trimming somewhere on this rather large house?
The applicant did already reduce. The initial project was keeping the lot coverage the same, and he went back and reduced some of the square footage inside on some of the rooms in the building, and this was what he felt comfortable with the inside of the house, and it ended up being a reduction of 0.5% on lot coverage. So there was a reduction from the initial designs.
Yeah. Well, I would be more comfortable if we were at 25% personally. I think there's plenty of space in this house that could be trimmed, but that's my view.
I would like to add, this is in the flood zone, so there is no basement. So some of the utility rooms are occupying space within the house, within the attic and so forth. The house is not getting any bigger than what's there. So there is some constraints in like some of the areas that could be used.
What's above the garage?
There is storage.
and no intention to make that into additional bedrooms?
No, the septic system will not allow for that.
Okay. And these decks contribute also to the lot coverage by structures.
The decks and also the steps up the decks.
Right, so some of those platforms couldn't be cut back a little, or... All right. Those are my questions. I don't know if anyone in the public out there is interested in commenting on this project. If not, I guess we've heard the testimony.
Move to close.
Second.
Do you want to discuss the issue with the lot
Oh.
coverage before you?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Before you close, in case, because Raul's calculating something there. I mean, even a landing with a nice patio type of thing,
Good
I think
point.
is what was discussed.
I mean, they're reducing it. I mean, I know that property, familiar with it, it's always been well-maintained. They're coming down,
It's more the issue to me of we have a maximum lot coverage of 25%.
But
By
there-
special permit, ordinarily, it's 20%. This is a really big house.
but they could go to 26.1, right? Because there's existing
They
coverage.
could try, but, this is a reconstruction requiring a special permit. We usually ask for conformance and a reduction in the nonconformities. And there's no reason, I keep coming back to, when you tear something down, you're reconstructing,
That's
you
clear.
ought to be able to conform. Now, they're going well above the 20% lot coverage, and I don't see why they can't make 25% personally. That's almost de minimis change in the house. And then we don't have the issue of going over our regulatory limit of 20%. That's
Could
not-
you take the stairs off the decks and move them, just make them 4 feet at one end or something?
Or pull the decks back a foot or two?
To get down to 25%, we have to remove about 160 square feet.
Yeah.
That will be practically eliminating more than half of this deck. I don't know if it will be this entire deck. So it affects a substantial amount. If it's just on 3 steps, we have to remove 60 feet of 3 steps. But we don't have 60 feet of 3 steps. So we keep the steps, but we reduce it on the deck. We almost just have a 4-foot landing off the house into steps. Or eliminating this deck completely, which they don't want to do. This is off of the master bedroom, so this is something that they want to keep. And we are reducing lot coverage, only 0.5%. Also to note is that the lot coverage based on structure includes the pool, it also includes the wharf.
Right, which is, again, more of my point, that this is not there's a lot of amenities on this site that are contributing to the excess lot coverage.
Yes, it might be excess, but I don't find it offensive, for everything. And just to arbitrarily say, and I shouldn't say arbitrarily,
It's not arbitrary, it's in the bylaw.
but, they could have come in with 26.1, they reduced it. It's arbitrary in that we could insist on it or deny it, or we could say, well, whether it's a variance or, can we approve it at 26.1? If we can't, let's end discussion. So
It's the board's decision.
so it's not a regulatory decision to disapprove it.
It's already pre-existing non-conforming, if that's what you're asking.
Thank you. I'm new to the board, so I'm struggling with it.
Right, it's pre-existing, non-conforming, and
And it's less non-conforming.
it's minimally less non-conforming, but still exceeds our maximum.
By a minimal amount.
Yeah, I'm just looking at whether or not it's substantially more detrimental than what currently exists. I don't think it's substantially more detrimental in any way, so I'm comfortable with it, but, you know.
The house is also blocked off from most of the view from the street. There's a good buffer in between the two entrances that really hides the development on the property.
And your side yard setbacks all work, yes?
They all conform, yes. Side yard setbacks were not a nonconformity before either.
Right. Okay, well, I'm just giving my opinion, but others may disagree. TJ, any thoughts?
No, I'm okay with the project as proposed. I know it's a small reduction, but it is a reduction. Like Raoul said, it is well buffered from the street. I don't have any real problem with the lot coverage.
Also,
Okay.
if I may also add, I'll enter to the record the plans in record for when the house was built in 1988. Something that I want to highlight with this submission is the lot at the time was 28,500 square feet. So slowly the waters have been taking more of the land.
Well, that may continue.
Well, there's a promising note.
So physically on this property, we have been seeing a natural increase on lot coverage by loss of land.
And the fact that it was 35% back in 2003.
35%.
35%, and the town voted to decrease it to 20%.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Which is why.
In terms of lot coverage, yes.
Right.
Okay. All right, well, I'd say the board has heard the testimony. Is everyone happy, ready to vote?
I'm happy.
Do we have to close the hearing?
We need to close the hearing.
Motion to close?
Second it?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, so the hearing's closed, and we're ready to entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Jerry and Paul are on a roll.
Yeah, it's their night, huh?
Maybe we have to deny the last one. Sorry.
Okay, findings. Those who make the motion should make the findings.
Okay, I'll keep my mouth shut.
You made the you made the findings and everything else.
I know.
In accordance with what was submitted as fact. It's less non-conforming.
Okay.
It's not significantly detrimental.
Not more.
More,
Not
Don.
more.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy with, I'm not sure what else we have to.
How many bedrooms?
No, happy is not a word.
No increase?
No increase in bedrooms, that's a good point.
They have a existing Title V system, right?
Yes, they said, does not need a change.
Anything else?
Meets the standards of,
240, 216.
yeah, I think it does.
Okay, TJ, any thoughts in the way of findings?
Slight reduction in lot coverage.
Got that.
That was
Every
noted.
year.
Yeah.
All right. Conditions.
Per plan?
No
Okay,
increase in
no
bedroom.
increase in bedrooms.
There's no Concom, right?
Do we need to make any specific findings regarding the three-car garage? Let's see. Or-
It already existed, and by the fact that you are doing this, I mean, if they were creating a new three-car garage from a two-car garage, then they would have to come to us, but the three-car garage does already exist.
That's 23G, is that what that is?
Well, yeah, if it's, yeah, it's residential. I think it's G1, 240, 23G1. Thank you. If the lot is less than 30,000 square feet, and if the garage is more than 900 square feet, it comes to the board for a special permit. What I'm saying is that three-car garage already exists, and it is part of the raise and reconstruct.
Right, so I guess that's worth noting as a finding that it's pre-existing, and therefore,
You want that in the findings?
I believe it should go in the
Okay,
findings.
three-car garage existing. The house was built in 1988, right?
And the footprint of the garage, let's see, that's on the plan.
It's more than 900
It is
square
more
feet.
than 900.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was, so the three-car garage existed prior to town meeting voting for 240, 23G1.
That's a good point, isn't it?
Yes, prior to
2001, was it?
zoning change, yeah. Okay, that's a good finding.
All right.
So per plans, no increase of bedrooms.
And there was there a CONSCOM review of any of this?
It seems to be close enough to. Was it in the finding, I mean, the
The
referrals?
That was order of conditions.
Yeah,
Okay, that's,
and there were some specifics. So in accordance with, so that, I guess we would say we adopt the findings of the Conservation Commission, right? Or the conditions of the Conservation.
Anything else?
I think that's it. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm opposed. I want that 25%.
You are opposed?
Yes. Still carries.
why does it, well, I guess it carries with some.
4-1.
Okay.
One, two,
Oh,
three,
supermajority,
four.
I thought there was only 4 people here.
Okay,
That's because TJ's so quiet.
all right. But it does say for 3 cars or more as well, so the garage is less than 900, he just calculated it. But it still
It's
is.
less than 900.
It still is for 3 cars
Yeah, I
or
was
more.
looking, that was, but if it's less than 900, we should maybe include that in the finding. I think that was calculable from the plan submitted.
My mistake, I apologize.
Okay. So that brings us to,
Okay, so he didn't even need
2916.
it. Excuse me. My apologies, Raul. It's not worth noting because he didn't require a special permit for it. Taking it out.
what's that?
The 3-car garage.
It's mentioned, 23G is mentioned in the application.
And we'll make a finding that it doesn't require it because it's not, the garage is less than 900 square feet.
But it's 3
And the
cars.
lot is less than 30,000. That's what I'm.
Garage space for more than 2 cars,
If,
the lot's less than 30,000.
right, that's
which
what
it
I've got.
is.
Right, that's what I've
Right.
got.
Yeah, so it's needed.
Right.
Okay,
I just rearranged it and eliminated one part of it.
gotcha. Okay, so now we're at 29-6, thank you. Did Raul go? No. Thank you. 29-16, Beth Cole, 29 Railroad Avenue, Quixhole Tavern. PJ?
Thank you. Being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Beth Colt of Woods Hole, Mass. applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Section 240-3C of the Code of Falmouth to convert the third floor from private to public use to allow for additional seating for existing restaurant on subject property known as 29 Railroad Ave, Woods Hole, Mass. And for referrals, from the Board of Health, no comment. From engineering, just the standard comment. Falmouth Fire and Rescue. They reviewed the application to convert the third floor from private to public to allow for additional seating. Any renovations must conform to the applicable sections of the fire and building codes. From building, they have approval for the third floor. From Historical Commission, the HDC does not have jurisdiction over interior changes of buildings within the historical district unless changes affect the exterior design of the building. Marine Environmental Services, no comment. From Planning, no comment. And that's it for referrals.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Beth Holt, and along with my husband, we own this property at 29 Railroad Avenue. We purchased it in 2013. It operated for many decades as a restaurant and bar known as the Lee Side. It is adjacent to the Steamship Authority on the corner of Luscombe and Railroad Avenues in the B1 district in Woods Hole. We renamed the business and we call it Quick's Hole Tavern. And we currently operate on the first 2 floors of the building. There is also, in fact, a full basement. The third floor of the building, which was constructed in 1989, was conceived as an apartment for the then owner, Hank Jonah. It never had a kitchen. It does have a bathroom. It's one open room. And I am here today to ask your permission for a change of use of this interior space from private to public. It will trigger some minor building code changes, but nothing to the exterior. Those changes include stair handrails, egress signage, levered doors, and additional sprinkler and fire alarm to meet current code. What else can I tell you about it? We are open 7 days a week, all year long for lunch and dinner. We're across the street from the Vineyard Ferry Terminal, so we serve a lot of Vineyard-bound passengers, and we do feel an obligation to stay open year-round because of that. That comes at a real cost in the wintertime. As you know, it slows way down, and we run pretty dramatically in the red for a number of months. In the summertime, however, we turn away business. There are a lot of people passing through, mostly pedestrians, and of course the population of Woods Hole blossoms really dramatically. So we would love the ability to capture additional business when it comes in these busy summer months and occasionally on weekends. We did receive a variance from the Architectural Access Board in Boston. There is not an elevator to this floor. There is our access on the other 2 floors. And their finding was, as long as we do not offer anything substantially different than what is offered on the other floors, that this would be all right with them. And the variance is included in your packet. The business, as I said, is in a B1 district. There is no change to the exterior of the building. The clientele of the restaurant is primarily local or transient, and the additional seating is not expected to create a negative impact on traffic flow or safety. The majority of the patrons are transient in nature and as such have no parking need. Property is connected to town sewer and water, and I believe the expansion will enhance the economic viability of the downtown area. In addition, I have asked for a clarification on the current occupancies, and I'm a little unclear whether this is part of your jurisdiction. I spoke with the building department about this as well. I'm asking for 49 seats on the 3rd floor, which would change the occupancy of the building. And then I'm also asking for a revision to the maximum occupancies, not the number of seats, on the 1st and 2nd floors. It's a modest increase. On the first floor is currently 68, I'm asking for 77. And on the second floor, there are 52 seats, and the maximum occupancy is currently 52. And I'd like to move that to 75 if possible. The space is large enough, for example, if the Chamber of Commerce wants to hold an event, or, we have gatherings, there's actually an event there tonight where Vineyard people are hanging out with Falmouth people. It would be helpful to have an increase in this maximum occupancy. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so why don't we start with TJ, since he's a renowned bar hopper.
I have an extensive history in the restaurant industry. In the town.
Let's not get into your habits.
Beth, when it comes to the third floor, the proposed use, it'll just be a dining room?
Dining
Not for
room.
special events or anything like
No,
that?
not for special events.
All right, thank you.
Is that it?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Ed, anything?
Is there a sprinkler system in the building?
There's a sprinkler system in the building.
Is it on the third floor?
It's in the third floor as well.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? No. Paul?
No questions, thanks.
It's been my experience when I've been there on the second floor, that I've seen activity on the third floor, small parties and things like that. I thought you said it wasn't used like that.
I've used it personally. It's not my actual apartment, but I live nearby.
No, I meant for special functions, not special parties, but people eating dinner up there, and I asked them.
VIP.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
The more serious question I have is, based on my experience, this facility has caused grease problems going to the main line in front of you.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily from the town, it's because of inadequate grease maintenance. So this would probably increase the amount of grease. I'm not sure what you have planned to improve that, or check it out, or maybe it's been approved since the last backup of about 8 months ago.
Yes, thank you, I recall it. So my plumber is Mr. John Moorer, and he frequents the building. I'm happy to show you the bills. I've been considering taking up plumbing because it's a lucrative business. Obviously, we are on top of the maintenance issues. I believe that that happened about a year into my ownership, and roughly, and I think there may have been some deferred maintenance that we were not aware of, but we are aware of now, and we have a schedule and we're up to date on.
Thank you.
Okay. So you're proposing increasing by about 81 seats.
Let's see, total now of 120 to 201, so that's correct, yes.
And that's about a 70% increase in occupancy. I have no issues with the, first of all, I go to a restaurant, I love it, food's great.
Thank you so much, I appreciate
Okay,
that.
food's great, especially recommend the seared tuna. But
No more advertising.
But I think you're asking for too much occupancy. No problem with increasing occupancy to the third floor. But this, under our restaurant bylaws, this would trigger about 90 additional parking spaces. How many parking spaces do you have?
Well, my understanding is the B1 district was not required in this.
On Main Street, but not in Woods Hole.
I didn't realize that. When I looked deep into the file, when the building was approved back in '88 for '89, it made reference to the zoning district allows by right the suggested use, and that no parking was required. So, but I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, I think Suri and I checked this, unless
240-104, Business 1 districts on Main Street, having a large amount. There is, and then 105, performance requirement, off-street parking must be provided to service the net increase in parking demand created by new construction, additions, or change in use.
That's
number
Main
of
Street, right?
spaces. No, that's performance requirement, period.
Period, all over
The
town.
first one, 240-104, is B1 districts on Main Street.
Right.
And it specifically states Main Street. And then you have a reduction by right, reduction by special permit. Seating for a restaurant is 1 space per 2 seats. Let's see about the parking design and location. Nope. I don't see any other.
So is there any
Going
parking
to be
currently
one.
that is dedicated to this restaurant?
This restaurant occupies 100% of the lot.
Yeah.
So there is no parking. I'm vice president of the Woods Hole Business Association. We have pursued with the town the hope of, and I believe they've secured it, an additional 40 to 45 spaces in the Steamship Authority lot, which is going to be earmarked for employee parking, which has long been an issue that Woods Hole businesses have rallied for in an effort to move our employees from street parking to make more parking available. That is going to come online at some point in the next month or two. I think it will have a very significant impact on Woods Hole as a whole, but it's not about me personally. But it is something that I've spent a long time
So
lobbying for
45
and tried to improve.
Right, but 40, even just, that would be for all the restaurants and businesses.
40 to 45 spaces for all
And
restaurants.
just for your restaurant, based on the parking requirements in the bylaw, you should have 90 spaces.
I understand.
And I mean, you've stated that you don't think that traffic is going to increase because of the restaurant, but what's the data for that? What's the evidence for that?
Well, I guess the purpose of the additional space is for overflow, so it won't get used if nobody's there. And the data I have now is that I already turn customers away, so the overflow on the busy summer months exists. I don't have any hard data for that, but
So
that's...
there's no traffic study of any kind?
I have not done a traffic study, no, sir.
And, I mean, again, it's a good enough restaurant that I actually think you do attract people, which is a plus, but it's also, from a parking perspective, a minus. So just speaking personally, I'd like to see you keep the first floor the way it is. I mean, also being in there, I don't see a lot of excess space. This plan that you showed us, these little boxes.
Yes.
Which represent sort of the open space, they're 5 square feet, right?
Yes.
They're 2.2 feet on the side. That's not a lot of,
So I brought my architect, Liz Katapovic, who did this
Mhm.
calculation. It's my understanding that that is the process one is meant to go through when calculating the space.
For capacity or for?
For capacity.
Fire exit when you have the
It's
space
both.
between tables, so it's both?
Yes.
Because it's
So-
not shown all over the plan, that's my
well,
question.
why don't we get some
Let's have her
input
speak to
from
that, yeah, sure.
Hi, I'm Liz Katapovic. I'm the architect for Beth. There are 2 ways we looked at the maximum persons. We went through the exits first to make sure that there were enough exits and that they were wide enough for the number of people from each level. So that's one test. And then the other test was the standing room only for the added people on the lower 2 floors.
So is the expectation that there ought to be, like if you have 2 tables adjacent to one another, how much space do you need between chairs so that people can actually sit down?
We have not changed the seating plan from what is there now. And upon revision as per the building code, the building inspector's request, we looked at this a 3rd way, and that is to show each of those 2 floor, the lower floor plan actually, without furniture and with an area for a singer or such. And standing room so that we could get an idea of different ways that it could be used. So if it's too tight with seating and standing, the idea would be to move furniture out.
So you're saying to me that the tables shown on here do not represent the occupancy?
The tables represent the seating occupancy, and it doesn't change.
And that is what is current existing? There's no
Yes.
additional tables?
Correct.
So those seats on the first floor around those round tables are new because they were never there before when it was the lee side. So those are new too, because those were standing
They
tables
were there, actually.
with 2 stools usually.
These guys.
It's my understanding that they were there, certainly the tables were there.
The tables
and-
were there, yes.
Yeah, and that's the number, when I inherited the building, that was the number of seats that was allowed. I don't recall whether there were stools around every single table, but I've not exceeded the number of seats that are allowed.
Per table.
Per table, yeah.
And has the building commissioner reviewed this seating plan
Yes.
for separation between chairs and tables? Excuse me, I have a cold. Have they reviewed this?
Yes,
And-
Yes.
when Beth first opened the restaurant, we did seating plans, and that was reviewed, and she
Right, but
has
the
permission.
increase that we're talking about now, has the building department, because he sets the capacity based on tables and chairs and the formula that he has.
Yes, and he is the one that asked me to do another option, which is with more people and without the tables and chairs, so that we could see that it could be used more than one way.
Because we don't have anything on the referral from the building department regarding that. It would have been very helpful.
Is what you have now, let's say for the first floor, that's exactly what you have now?
So, let me clarify.
It's 13 seats around the bar?
Yes,
three
that's
12
exactly what I
seats?
have now.
Okay,
Yes.
so
there's no change.
increase. There's no increase on the first floor?
That's right. Not in the number of seats, I'm asking a slight increase in the standing room occupancy.
Which is not your.
Yeah, that's, yeah, okay.
Got it. So,
The added occupancy that this board looks at is because of
Just-
the parking.
got it, okay.
Because it creates additional parking.
Yes, I
The
understand.
capacity of the building is up to the commissioner based on your floor plans.
Okay.
Well, that may be true, but, so in other words, you're saying we regulate based on tables?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the increase she is asking for is before the board because of parking and congestion in the town. The capacity, like you could limit the capacity, or you could say you don't agree with the increase in occupants on second floor and third floor because of the parking issue in
So-
Woods Hole.
Maybe I could suggest something, it might be a compromise, I'm a fan of compromise. I'd be fine keeping the occupancy, total occupancy of the first floor at 68, as you suggest, no change. And then I would like an increase on the second floor, because that number 52 is just the number of seats. And the space has, if you want to hold a function with the chamber, it limits you. And so it would be great if I could go up some number from there, although I would, defer to you. I did the math. I asked my architect to do the math about what would be safe based on current building code, and this is how we got to that number.
Would you be happy with 70?
I would be thrilled with 70.
Okay. On to the third floor?
You're on a
The
roll.
third floor is 49 and 49, so there's no standing room only up there, just 49.
But that's all new?
That's new.
And that, boy, when I look at these tables, I think they're crammed. I'm just wondering if we could go to 44, which would be taking out one 5-person table.
Well, I've been, every seat really does generate revenue. It's much more significant than the standing room only issue. And that is the max allowable by building code. And I don't see any reason to back off of that if the purpose is to, become more economically viable.
Would I?
I mean, my position is the applicant's hired a registered design professional to design this in accordance with the state building code. That's what the seal means, that she's a registered design professional, she's an architect. She has designed this in accordance with all applicable codes, or it wouldn't be stamped and signed. So I'm assuming a code review was done,
Yes.
obviously, and, I mean, I'm comfortable with it. I don't know what...
Well, again, Paul, I just come back to the parking. issue.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand.
And, you know, you're talking about having functions, and functions clearly would draw additional traffic to a location where there's already, as we all know, impossible, not just limited parking, it's impossible. You know, some of your competitors have valet parking at an off-site location that they happen to own.
Yes.
You don't have that, unfortunately.
No, I do
And,
not.
If, Mr. Chair, just one other thing, you said the increase was for like functions by the chamber. Is it not reasonable to assume they could bus people down? I mean, you know.
Well, you don't want the board to get into
No, well, I'm
requiring
struggling
things
with,
like
it's a
that.
congested area, you know, you could say it's, some people may say don't allow any increase, but that doesn't seem fair either. And I don't know.
No, I think we're allowing an increase.
Well, I'm looking at the third floor.
I mean,
you know.
yeah, well, that, we're certainly allowing it. I'm not saying there shouldn't have any.
But, you know, how does eliminating
any,
one 5-seating table, that's one car.
I'll give you an example.
I just can't grasp.
The
No,
casino.
actually, it's two and a half
The
cars.
casino, the board said no more than 95 seats, and they could use it inside or outside. So inside, they had to have 44 and say, 46 if they used the deck. When the deck was closed, and everybody could be in there. So, and that was because of parking.
Right.
So and just to try to answer Jerry and Paul's concerns, the parking, it has happened before, and the parking is an issue.
But in high season, this really is transient. You've
Very
got
much
people
so.
that...
Except for functions, yes.
Right, except for functions.
I
yeah.
generally don't do functions in high season.
Right.
I don't. I mean, there's no chamber events.
Sure.
This is the people walking by going to the ferry. And then,
Right.
of course, there's a lot of people who live in and around Woods Hole.
That walk.
They walk and ride their bikes.
Sure.
And they like the village setting, and that's why they chose to stay in Woods Hole.
Would you be amenable to the third floor being all 4-seat tables? I mean, I'm not sure what's
Well, I think they have a very
economically.
interesting arrangement of tables here where you can put together, it's set up, I can see from the way you've arranged it, that you can have one long party of, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4 tables.
It's nice to have that flexibility. Don't have anything larger than a 6-top downstairs.
Right.
Do have groups that come, larger than that. So it's nice to have the flexibility.
And when they're busy, maybe only 4 seats are going to be sat in.
I don't see how we're going to solve a parking problem
That's what I'm
manipulating this
getting at.
floor plan.
We're-
I mean, I don't see it.
We're not, Paul, but but we can, I think, this is a very, very significant increase
Oh, it is.
in occupancy, going from 120 to 187.
It is, but as the applicant said, it's high season where she wants to have the overflow.
And I
In high
think-
season, I ride my bike to Woods Hole
Me too.
because I
I
just
know.
know not to take a car down there.
But
There's
people
no
aren't
way in
going to
hell
do
I'm
that
riding
to
a bike
go to
down to
dinner
Woods
at
Hole.
night.
No, I realize that, but, I mean...
Well, it's
you
the
just-
the risk they take. If you can't find parking, people aren't going
That's
there
right.
or someplace else.
Right.
Well, that's true.
And I'd like to get back to, why is 5 seats, 2.5 cars?
Because it's...
It's the bylaw.
Oh, it's the bylaw. Okay, I'm
It's
sorry.
2 seats per parking space in a restaurant.
1 space per 2 seats.
All right, government, okay.
You know about regulations, right?
Regulations aren't always right, but they have to be followed.
Made that clear to me many times.
Where's Kimberly when you need her?
She'd throw the gavel at both of us.
So-
She would throw it at you. All right.
I'd love to see you, that's my opinion. I may not prevail in that. It sounds to me like the board is, but I do appreciate that you're willing to give up some of the seat.
On the third
Listen, I
floor-
share your concern about parking in Woods Hole. I'd love to see solutions to that. I've worked really hard as a volunteer to come up with solutions. I'd love to see more. I do everything I can to make sure my employees park in places that are not, that are not on the streets. I myself walk to work, as do many of my employees.
It
So.
would be great if the town did have some type of public parking there like they do downtown.
Yeah.
That would be so nice for the
problem is
village.
where to put it.
The steam-
Getting off topic.
Yeah.
Did I say that underneath?
It doesn't make any sense to continue this hearing, right? They're not going to come back with anything different.
No.
What?
I think,
Well,
We
she's
don't
already
know
agreed
that.
to drop.
We don't know
a
that.
few.
We're still talking with the applicant, so.
Right.
If the applicant's amenable to lessening something, then
Yeah.
it's beneficial. If
Yeah.
not, then the board
You
can.
know, I'm just saying, I think, we're getting on the second floor, 18 more people. And we're getting on the, with the concession of one table, we'd be getting 44 more people on the third floor. That's a lot of people. That ought to be a
So
big
what are you
revenue
asking,
boost.
Beth? To eliminate one table on the third
So
floor?
we've settled on 68 and 70, and I'm just suggesting we
So he's
eliminate
pushing on the third floor.
one table on the third floor.
Of
Maybe
five.
we could go,
Or 4.
yeah, I don't care, a 4 or 5.
Well, there's also a 2.
Yeah, I don't think you'd get it.
I'd vote for where the 4 tables are on the straight line, the one on the end, because those people that are sitting, because of the curve where the elevator shaft is, those people are going to have to get up just to get out. So the people down,
Well, that's the sort of thing I'm looking at, is the other issue is the circulation. If you do, this is something that Serena and I discussed a little, is if you had to have rapid egress from the third floor, that could be an issue.
Is it our issue, though?
Yeah.
I'm just asking. Go to the fire department.
It's a concern that this board can address. She's asking for new change of use on the third floor and
Egress. Okay.
Yeah, we have to
primarily
consider
parking, but
suitability,
it's up to
safety.
the applicant to, see how the board feels and see if anything, the board can condition. Is that right?
I mean, I'm comfortable with the registered design professionals' drawings. But if some of my board members aren't, that's fine. I'm just saying,
I will note, it's gonna be, it's only at these very busy times that this happens,
Sure.
right? So it's, if you look at the many, many, many months where
Yeah.
nothing's going on, this room's sitting empty for a great, great deal of time.
Yeah.
It's really just at these high season moments when
Yeah, the ferry
everybody and their
company's out.
brother wants to eat dinner on a Friday night, and you
Yeah,
gotta,
yeah.
gotta make
No,
hay
I-
while the sun
listen, I've
shines,
been
and there are
turned away.
only so many weekends. I mean, it goes quick.
I've been turned away myself a number of times,
So
and I
it's-
will appreciate the additional
Or
seating.
don't take it personally.
And now I'm never going to get a seat.
I also it's a big deal to me that I employ 25 to 30 people year-round. I do that at great expense during the wintertime. I carry a lot of people because I think it's right, and it makes the year-round business run smoother. If I don't get it, I have to look at ways to make it cost-effective, right? I can't, it just has to, and at the end of the year, you have to have made a little profit, or it starts to be like, well, why are you doing it?
What I don't understand, Mr. Chairman, is that I don't see how 5 seats, 2 cars, significantly increases egress or parking. If this is really high seasonal, maybe we say third floor occupancy limited to, you pick the months.
Well,
Or, occupancy.
To me,
Yeah, that's too
I
hard
would
to
love
police.
it.
Okay, sorry.
I would
hard to
love it
police.
if this restaurant were full
All
12
the
months a
time.
year,
Yeah.
but I don't want it to be too full any months of the year. That's my issue, right, is not to have it become either a safety issue or, obviously, there is going to be a parking issue, but, how can we mitigate this to some degree? This is even with, if we go 68, 70, and 44, that's a 50% increase in the seating compared to what they have now. So it's not
In the
like-
occupancy, not the seating.
In the occupancy. But also a very significant increase in the
Yes,
seating.
I understand.
And because all of those 44 are in the, so it's actually probably more than a 50% increase in the seating because your occupancy is less, right? All those 44.
Yeah, you're right.
On the
As a
fifth
percentage, you're right.
Yes. So you're getting a very significant boost, which I think would be very helpful to the business, but I
It's
just think it looks a little cramped.
49 over 100, so yeah, 50%.
Well, if it turns out that it's too crowded, they're gonna know when they start trying to serve with all of this.
I agree.
It'll fix itself.
Well, yes, absolutely, but again, that's why I hired an architect, and these chairs are sized to chairs, and I believe that it's workable. It's quite a nice, large space. It's a nice space.
Plus with all the other restaurants in Woods Hole and all the outside standing space some of them have, and all the minutia and activity of the village, I think it's a distinction without a difference in high season. I don't know who drives there, who doesn't, who's off the ferry, who isn't. It's very busy. I love the activity.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm not getting a whole lot of support for my
No, I don't think
reduction
you are.
on the third floor. Is that correct?
I think that's the
I think so.
consensus.
But
Yes.
Beth has already agreed to reduce the others,
Right.
right?
So,
Yeah, she has agreed to.
okay, so.
Can we move to close?
So then, hold on, I want to be sure that we have an agreement here. So we have 68 on the first floor, 70 on the second, 49 on the third.
That would be great.
Okay.
We've got a little headway there.
Yeah. Okay. Is everyone satisfied that they've heard enough?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone satisfied that they've heard too much?
Yeah.
All right, then make a motion to close.
Close.
Second it.
Okay. This is Jerry and Ed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I as well. Okay, so then do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, let's make some findings.
Well, we have the findings of the reductions. You're the chair, you should.
Reduction.
No,
you
the
should-
findings are made by the person who makes the motion.
Gotta look at the oil.
You won't do that again.
Well, they've already,
Presumably, I mean, I might disagree with you.
well, we agreed to the reductions proposed by the applicant.
What are our findings? What's the seating?
First floor, second floor, third floor.
Let's start with that.
Complies with 240,
Okay. gotcha.
216. I think it does.
I think we need to make a finding, actually, that there is, that the restaurant has been operating without complying with the parking requirements
Since its inception.
since its inception. I
That's
think
true.
that is correct. And that the.
Without dedicated parking.
Yes,
Right.
and that the applicant who purchased the restaurant inherited that condition. And cannot be expected to remediate. How about that?
Sounds good.
I think we could make a finding that the applicant has agreed to reduction from the initial request for increased occupancy.
And we have that floor by floor, right?
Yep, from 77 to the current 68 on the first floor, from 75 to 70, increasing over 52, which is current on the second floor.
And the addition of 49 on the third floor
49.
will remain as
Right.
proposed.
I think we need to make a finding that the fire department has approved this plan, that there's additional sprinkling?
There's one, actually, 2 new heads are required.
He says it has to meet
Yeah.
the
And that will involve the addition of some.
That requires a year-round inspection.
Yes, I
I
already
mean,
have
a
that.
yearly, excuse me.
Yes, yes.
So, Falmouth Fire Department referral, we can refer to that
Right,
and note
refer
that
to
it is a
that.
yearly inspection?
And note that there's some additional sprinkling capabilities being added. And there's also, as per testimony and as per plan, I believe, there's some improvements to the egress. Right, that's another finding. And I think we could find that, again, as per testimony, that the applicant is already turning away clients, which implies that the draw, what I'm trying to get at is the issue of how many people are coming. It's not going to necessarily increase over what's current. They already have people coming there, and so that's maybe modest evidence that in terms of traffic flow, that they're not triggering further increases.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to say that, but I'll try and figure something out.
You know what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah, I
there?
do.
Okay, and then,
Is it a finding or condition about maintaining adequate grease traps?
Grease traps is Board of Health, and
Not when
she
it goes
said
into
that
the
she's got, it's Board of Health in town. She says she's got a plan in place now for
So she maintains
maintenance,
it.
like Baker or somebody like that, I'm sure.
So maintain the plan.
Testimony was that she's maintaining, is that what you're
Yeah, that's
asking
fine.
for?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
that
she
could be
said.
a fine.
That-
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair as a finding.
Testimony applicant is maintaining.
Grease traps in accordance with town requirements.
In
Okay.
accordance with regulations.
but that is, again, that's not really a zoning issue, right?
No, but he asked it, so.
Yeah, yeah.
it's not-
Okay, conditions. So I think we just want to restate the occupancy conditions. That, well, first of all, that we will allow the use of the third floor for public space, right?
For the restaurant, was that obvious?
For the restaurant.
For restaurant seating.
Seating. And so in the findings, we're gonna be finding that there's a demand for this, right?
Yes.
That's part of this issue of turning away clients.
Based on testimony?
Based on testimony, and I can confirm that.
I won't put your name in here, though.
And that the occupancy will be no more than 68 on the first floor, no more than 70 on the second floor, no more than 49 on the third floor. And the third floor, I believe the testimony was that the occupancy would be only whatever the seating accommodates, right? There's
No standing.
no standing on the.
Oh, okay. So third
Correct, is
floor.
that correct? So,
Seating only.
yeah, it's really the bar on the first and second
Yeah.
floor. Any other conditions that you guys can think of?
You're going to change your alcohol license, oh, it's closed. But you are going to go before the Board of Selectmen to include that third floor.
Yes, I have to do
correct?
that. Yes, I can't serve until I
Right.
change the premise, definition of premise.
So we could say,
Hearing's closed. That
right, but
testimony's after.
in conditions, right, we could certainly say that the.
She can only serve up there what you can serve, right? Food.
Do we want to say anything about that? I don't think we need to say.
I don't
It's not your jurisdiction, really.
No.
It's up to her to get that liquor license.
Okay. Think we got it covered?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I got to think about the findings. I may tweak them and add a
We'll get
little
it-
based on testimony, but your conditions are your conditions, and I don't think you can get any more than that, right?
Right. And you'll send us the written decision.
Yes, the one that you usually respond to.
I knew that was coming.
They're all so perfect that we don't need to. Okay, so all in favor
Aye.
of this motion?
Aye.
Jerry?
Aye.
Okay, and I.
Thank you
Very
very
good.
much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Thanks. Look forward to sitting down the next time I go there.
Look forward to that too. It was a pleasure.
So Beth, I send you a draft as well,
Okay, great.
and then I'll forward you, of course, the decision when they sign it.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
But when you guys come into the office is when you should ask me questions that.
But I didn't know that question.
Okay, so,
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
looking at the agenda here, that
Is it?
brings to a conclusion the meeting. We have dealt with the open meeting portion, so there's no further business. And with that,